Want to make the best apple pie ever? Just went to Apple Hill and bought a bunch of apples? Stick around, I'm going to show you how I make my apple pie. Okay, so Apple Hill is in the foothills of right outside of Sacramento in Placer County? I think it's Placer County. And there's a bunch of apple orchards in the area, and there's crafters, food. It's a great place to go spend a fall day, and you can buy lots of different variety of apples. Although this year they were telling me that a lot of apples got destroyed in the frost that happened earlier this year, but you can still find some. So last weekend we went and we got some Fuji apples, and so I'm going to slice them up and prepare them for an apple pie. This is my apple slicer core from Pampered Chef. Yes, we used to be Pampered Chef consultants too, so I guess I'm an entrepreneur at heart because, you know, real estate, Pampered Chef, vacation home rental, all of that I've done or still do. Well, this video is a little bit different than my other videos, but I thought I would add something a little bit more personal to my repertoire of videos. I have about 7 or 8 Fuji apples, and I'm just going to show you how I slice and peel and core one, and then I'll come back after I have all of them done. Okay, this part is the peeler, and then as you'll see, as I'm winding it through, it's peeling, coring, and slicing all at the same time. And if you want something like this, I could probably put you in touch with a Pampered Chef consultant, and typically you have like a home party and you can get your items at discount. And I love kitchen gadgets, so I've had this probably over 10 years now. And I'm going to slice the apples so they come out in really, I like my apple pie to have thin apples, so the apples kind of come out like this. Okay, so, and then, you know, I'm gonna take off, if I miss any of the core, I'm gonna cut that out, and any like little bad pieces, I'll cut that out. But I will be back in a moment after I peel 7 more. Okay, this is the last apple, and I was just telling my daughter that the season that we had, the weather was really crazy. You know, they had the freeze in March, and then they had this heat wave in September. So it really did a demise on the apples. And I was like, ugh, this apple is rotten. Or we remembered that's where the saying comes from, rotten for the core. So this one we're gonna have to toss. I like Fuji apples because they're crisp. Granny Smith apples can be used as well. You can get those at Apple Hill. I got these at High Hill Farms. The other thing I'm going to do is squeeze a little bit of lemon over the apples so they don't brown too much. Sorry, I adjusted my camera, but I did that so you could see what I was doing. Okay, so those are all the apples. Grab a spatula. More Pampered Chef. So those are the apples that I sliced for the pie. And the next thing I'm going to work on is my pie crust. And I downloaded this pie crust in 2007. And this page has been in my cookbook. I download recipes, and then I hole punch them and put them in a binder. And then I do have my binder organized by appetizers and main courses and desserts. And of course, this is like one of the first recipes in the desserts. And it's called Ruth's Grandma's Pie Crust. And I got it from All Recipes. And I'll link the ingredients, because even though the filling for my apple pie, I kind of like guesstimate everything, I do follow a recipe for my crust. The recipe calls for flour, shortening, egg, and ice water. But what I like to do is mix my shortening with butter. So I'm going to use 2 sticks or 1 cup of butter and 3/4 cup of Crisco. And then what I do is I cut them up in little squares, because we're going to mix it in with the flour to make the crust crumbly. Okay, while the butter and the shortening are chilling, I'm going to go ahead and add my flour and salt to a larger bowl and kind of combine it a little bit. And I think it's important to level off your flour. You can also weigh it. So this calls for 4 cups of flour. And I tend to have like extra crust of this left over too. And so I will freeze one to have for later. That's 3. Oh, it's going to be close here. Okay, so that's the 4th cup. The next ingredient is salt, because the butter doesn't have any salt in it. So it's 2 teaspoons. I like using Himalayan sea salt. It's actually a little saltier than other salts. So I may not put all of that salt in there. Yeah, I'm going to leave some of it out. Then I'm going to use a whisk and kind of mix it up a little bit. Just so when I put my butter in there, this will kind of be mixed up. And this is all-purpose flour. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty good. Alrighty, I also have this, oh, this is also Pampered Chef. This is a pad to let you measure out the different crusts. Let me see if I could show you. So here it has like inches for the circumference of the pie crust, and it goes up to, well, the outer one is 13 inches, but typically I'm making probably a 9-inch pie, but I'll make it larger to kind of go up the sides of the pie dish. All right, so nothing else to show you while I wait for the butter and the shortening to chill. So I'll be back again. Now that my shortening and my butter has chilled, I'm going to add it to my flour and salt mixture, and I'm going to crumble this using a pastry blender. So I'm just gonna put all that in. Okay. Right. And then I'm gonna adjust the camera so you can see a little bit better. I missed a step coming up. I'm so mad because my battery on my phone ran out. But basically I combined the ice water and the egg and added it to the flour mixture until I had a ball, and then I rolled it out, which you'll see me do next. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of cut this on the outside, cut that away. Okay, and I kind of want it to be on the outside because I'm going to join the other crust on the top. And then if I have like a little space like right here where I kind of didn't line it up, I'm just gonna put in pieces of the scrap. Now I have my pie crust, and you can see little pieces of butter in it, which is how I like it. I have my other ingredients, which is more butter. That's why I don't make it this often. I have the apples. I have some caramel apple topping, some white sugar, brown sugar, and a little bit of flour, because I'm going to sprinkle that. And I'm going to layer all this inside here. I'm going to put some apples in there. Okay. And I'm going to do a little bit of butter. Kind of like this. So this is the part where I really can't tell you how much I'm measuring because I just kind of put it in. Okay. So sorry about that. All right, so here's some sugar. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with some brown sugar. This is dark brown sugar. And sometimes I just kind of sprinkle that. Okay. All right. A little bit of flour. The apples have a lot of water in them, so that's why I put that. And a little bit of caramel. Okay. Sorry, it's going to be a little bit messy. All right, some more apples. Some more sugar. Kind of sprinkling it on there. Okay. Now, I guess this is a 1/2 cup measure, but I guess I'm just using it more as a scoop. All right, a little bit more butter. Now I'm going to use more than I said I was of the butter. Okay, a little bit more caramel. And I like to build up my apple pies. And the apples will kind of cook down. Okay, right. And then probably the rest of the apples. So again, that was probably about 8 apples. Okay, so just kind of arrange that. Finish off with some more sugar. Maybe a little bit more towards the top. This is all going to cook down in the oven. I had the oven preheating at 350 degrees, so maybe a little bit more. Okay, I'll let you know if it was too much. Finish off with a little bit more caramel. Okay. Okay, so, and then a little bit of flour. Probably maybe a tablespoon or so. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll out the top crust, put it over the top, create some vents in it, and bake it. Here's the top crust. I'm going to do the same kind of process I did before. Get some flour. This one is going to be a little bit thinner than the bottom crust. Okay, so I'm going to roll that out. And again, I'll cut away what I don't need. Can you see the pieces of butter in there? All right, I need a little bit more space. All right, try to get that as round as I can. Again, this is going to go on the top, so I need a little bit more flour because butter is coming off, so it's getting a little warm. So, rubbing a little bit more flour on the crust. Okay. Got cooking going on behind us too, because it's dinner time. All right, that looks pretty good. All right. Now, see if I can do this on camera. Okay, move it out of the way. Bring in the pie. This is the first time I think I've made a cooking video, so be nice. All right. I'm gonna shake that off. Ta-da! Looks pretty good. Oh, by the way, if you noticed, I did add a little bit more butter to the last layer. All right, so I'm gonna move that out the way and kind of join that. All right, now I'm gonna cut some of that crust away. Okay. All right, then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna do a egg wash over the top, and I'm gonna put a little bit on the edges to kind of seal in the crust. So let me go grab an egg. Okay, so I have an egg and probably about 2 tablespoons of water. I'm just gonna kind of mix that up, whisk it a little bit. Okay. Now, I'm just going to kind of add a little bit to kind of seal the crust up along here. Okay. So I'll show you a couple of spots that I'm doing, and then I'll finish the rest and come back. All right, so this crust, sometimes I get fancy with the edges, but I'm just going to do edges with a fork. So just going to press it in there. Sometimes I use the back of a spoon, like right here, or like a little marble. But today I'm just going to use a fork, like if I'm taking it to Thanksgiving or taking it over to somebody, but this is just for us to eat, so I'm not going to get all that fancy. All right, and then I'm going to take out a brush. Guess what? Another Pampered Chef tool. All right, and then I'm just going to brush a nice little coating. This is going to give it a nice glow as it bakes. I got my egg wash on, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar on this. Going to put it in the oven, and we'll be good to go. Got my sugar on, and now I'm going to put some vents in it. So I'm just going to randomly cut into the crust, and this will release steam out when you're baking it. So, right. Okay, let's get this in the oven. Well, I told you all that I'm not a professional chef or cook, right? So I forgot one ingredient in the pie: cinnamon. So I'm going to sprinkle some on the top and see what happens. But I will add that into the recipe to make sure to sprinkle some cinnamon. Not a lot, maybe about a teaspoon or so. So we'll see. So once again, yes, I forgot to put cinnamon in my pie, so I sprinkled some over the top, and hopefully it'll taste good. But yes, don't forget your cinnamon. So this is going to bake for about 50 to 60 minutes in the oven for 350 degrees. This is another product from Pampered Chef. So I've been baking the pie for about 20 minutes. And I'm going to put this on to protect the crust edges so they don't brown too quick. I'm going to kind of put that on the top. So I need two hands, but you get the idea. So we'll come back when it's baked. Okay, it's looking good. It's been in actually 55 minutes. And what I do is I stick a knife through, and if I can cut through, which I did, that means the apples are soft enough. And this is why you want a pan underneath, because the apples have a lot of fluid and they drip. So this is just an old pizza pan that I use. So we're going to take it out and probably let it cool down for about 20 minutes and give it a try. All right, here she is. She's been cooling for about 20 minutes. I'm going to cut into it. The family's here. We'll see what they think about it. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's crispy. You hear that? Smells good. Smells like fall. This is a pie cutter. Again, another product from Pampered Chef. Okay, it's a little watery, but it's because it was just baked today. That water will kind of soak in to the crust. I'm salivating. Okay, my daughter's right there. You can't see her, but I need a plate. All right. Okay, see if I can do this. All right, here comes the first slice. Apples are kind of coming out. I think I need a spoon. Yeah. Ready. All right. All right. Top crust is nice and I like it flaky like that. I don't know if you can see that it's flaking off, but pretty good. Okay, let me know if you try to bake a homemade apple pie from scratch, and let me know how it comes out. This is Kimberly with Guide Real Estate.